The gaming community has changed a lot since I was a little kid. I remember that when I was 9, 10, 11, the vast majority of gamers were male. When I thought of a gamer, I thought of a dude. If I met a woman or a girl that played video games, that was like encountering a shiny Pokemon. It just, for some reason, I genuinely think for a long time in my life, I thought there was a biological motive behind men enjoying video games more than women. I just assumed that because I never encountered women or girls that liked video games. It was just a guy thing. And video games were very heavily targeted towards guys, as that was the presumed target audience, right? And that's changed a lot in a very short time in my lifetime. Don't get me wrong, there were always women playing video games, but in online environments, they were doing so much more anonymously. They didn't want to be harassed or creeped on or bullied, anything like that. And many others just played single player games and didn't talk about it because they didn't want to be purity tested by gamers, male gamers that didn't believe a girl could really play video games. Only now, we've got the internet, we've got social media, and it's gotten bigger than ever. And now you've got more gaming streamers and content creators and sometimes professional esports people that are, more of them are women than ever. You know, there's no denying the presence of women who play video games. And so the industry has shifted, and we've now seen a diversity in the available options among games to cater to a lot more different sensibilities. And some of them are a little bit more broadly appealing than you would expect. You know, if you asked 10-year-old me, would I ever be able to enjoy a farming sim? I'd be like, no. Hell no. If you showed me footage of Stardew Valley and told 10-year-old me one day that I would call that one of the most addictive games I've ever played, I would call, young me would have called you crazy. And yet still, Stardew Valley, one of the most addictive games I've ever played. It's a cozy game with, I can only assume, a very heavily female audience, because every girl I know plays Stardew Valley. Like that's just the law. It's like written into some titanium tablet somewhere in the universe, and you know, that's just, it's true. Anyway, games like Stardew, games like Sims. Ooh, Sims was the OG cozy game that was really popular with women. These games are not like super high octane adrenaline chasing type games, which is certainly the kind of thing that not necessarily women aren't into, but guys are disproportionately more prone to seek out. These are games that are just different, and they appeal more to a different audience. Not, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. As a gamer, I want the gaming community to grow. I want the options to be more broad. I don't want to just play shoot 'em up slop or sports ball slop for the rest of my life. Okay? I think that's a good thing. Hell, there are some great technically cozy games that are actually very profound. I don't know if any of you guys ever played it, but on the PlayStation 3, there was a game called Flower where you basically played as the wind. If you don't know, I'm not even going to try to define the game because I would just butcher describing how beautiful that game is. Just go look up some gameplay, or better yet, find a way to play it yourself. It's amazing, right? The problem is, lately, gamers, TM, as a community, have decided they want to fight back against women taking over gaming. You see, many of them recall when they were younger, and there were, seemingly, no women playing video games. Hell, many of them maybe felt ostracized or ridiculed or even looked down upon by women in their age group, or girls in their age group, their peers, just for playing video games. And so now, as adults or young adults, many of these guys who love video games now see so many adult women playing video games and enjoying them, many of them claiming to have loved games their whole lives, and from their POV it's like, oh, they're lying. If they were telling the truth, I would have met so many girls who played video games growing up, but where were they? Where were they? And so it very quickly, the gaming community developed this perception that there is this desire by attractive adult women to fake geek girl into the gaming industry or into the gaming community and pretend like they belong there, quote unquote, in order to change things to be more aligned with their sensibilities. They don't see it as gaming has gotten more appealing to women over time despite its lack of appealing features, like its lack of desire to appeal to women. And now that the industry actually has a hold on that audience, it's starting to really market to them. And now gamers are losing their minds. That's how I see it. But now you've got your average gamer dude who just sees it as an invasion of their hobby, a thing they need to gatekeep before it goes mainstream and gets diluted into something completely unrecognizable from the. And I won't lie, let's be real, a lot of people they like to be hipsters, right? People like to have been into cool thing before it was cool with everybody. Like, to find a really cool, neat thing, no one knows about it, and then it gets really popular, everyone loves to be that guy. But once it starts to change because of that popularity, people do get prickly. The original fans do get prickly, and I feel like a lot of people in the gaming community are either A, just straight up misogynist, or B, terrified of change, and that leads them to this weird cultural hatred for games made for women, or cozy type games. In fact, the reaction to the video I'm going to be showing you guys here by Izzy's, I believe I pronounced the name right, it's quite the name, I got a lot of anger on Twitter. I was seeing so many conservative accounts on Twitter losing their fucking mind over the thumbnail of this video. It was really funny. But, yeah, apparently, the Chuds did not like the way this one called them out. I am really, really curious to see how presumably correct she is and everything here. Also, Burboy, thank you for the tier 1 sub, says, as someone who really disliked the Norse God of War games from a gameplay standpoint, watching the gameplay of Laufey, I felt it restored my hope, its peak. Yeah, that's the ironic thing as well, is that the game that the Chuds have decided to... Once again, they already tried to cancel God of War Ragnarok and failed, but on top of that, a lot of OG God of War fans have been upset with more modern God of War games for grounding Kratos a bit too much. Meanwhile, this new game is bringing back so many of Kratos' OG moveset and playstyle, even though you're not playing as him, in this game, and a lot of OG God of War fans are like, oh, my double jumps, my air combos, they're back. Anyway, yeah, the Chuds are just mad they have to play as a hot MILF for some reason. Like, I saw in the opening, like, she's got her thighs out and everything, and it's like, damn, how are the Chuds mad about this? We're getting, like, MILF legs right out the gate? Let's go. I don't get it. I don't get it. One second, they're crying that they can't goon to a game, and then the next, they're crying that they could goon to a game. I don't get it. What do they want? What do they want? Anyway, here we go. Oh my gosh.
Switch 2 system. Cozy games are kind of paradoxical in nature.
Over the last few years, the market has been absolutely flooded with wholesome indie titles about farming, decorating, and befriending cute talking animals. Some of the biggest games in the world right now are cozy games. Photopia sold over 2.2 million copies in its first 4.
What does that say about our society right now, that everybody is flocking towards these cozy games that just make you able to have like a sense of escapism? Because I won't lie, another great example of a cozy game series that people don't even think of as a cozy game series is just Pokemon. Even like OG, like Red and Blue, Fire Red, Leaf Green, like that, those games are like cozy games, and I know so many people who play them as like the ultimate form of escapism when times are tough in the real world. So I think it says something about where we are right now, that these games are so popular across demographics at the moment.
4 days alone, and physical copies of Tomodachi Life sold out pretty much everywhere on release, for good reason.
And yet, despite the genre's popularity, cozy games are not real games, at least according to a surprisingly large contingent of gamers.
Cozy games are soft, shallow, boring, weak. They're casual, they require no skill or real time investment to get good. They're oversaturated and overhyped, they just aren't real games.
Why, despite their immense popularity, are cozy games so often dismissed in this way? Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact
because women play them. That literally, there is a perception among gamers who are guys that games that are popular among women are not real games, and that like they have to tone down everything to make them digestible to the female psyche.
That a large audience of women enjoy them. Today, I want to explore how misogyny has shaped the cozy game genre and community, and why so often these wholesome cozy games are anything but. Before we continue, I just want to take a quick minute to thank the sponsors of today's video, Squarespace.
Oh boy,
Squarespace
we got
is
the
all-in-one
sponsor.
website platform for creators to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website and engage with your audience. With Squarespace's intuitive drag and drop editing, beautiful styling options, tons of visual design effects, and a whole library of templates, literally anyone can build an epic custom website to fit their needs.
Not only can you sell products, but Squarespace makes it easy to offer services and get paid all in one place. From consultations to events and experiences, you can attract clients and grow your business with Squarespace.
And for that extra professional little touch, Squarespace...
My big question is, why does she look like she's going to midsummer me? I feel like I'm gonna get stuffed into a bear. The way she's dressed, it looks like she's one of the villagers in Midsummer.
Domains is a great way of giving your site a unique name. Every Squarespace domain comes with advanced privacy and security tools included to ensure that your domain remains online and protected. And Squarespace provides everything you need to bring more of your dream to life, whether that means building a website or adding a professional email service.
Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/izzies to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. A huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and now let's continue. The term cozy to describe a specific genre of game is relatively new, emerging around 2020 during the pandemic, when coincidentally a lot of people were inside and looking for a way to escape reality.
For many, this escape came in the form of Animal Crossing: New Horizons, whose release coincided perfectly.
You know what I was no-lifing through most of the pandemic? Classic World of Warcraft, baby. The OG of OG cozy game. No, that'd be Pokemon, but no, seriously though. Classic WoW. I feel like people discount the cozy factor to Classic WoW. I know it's got the reputation for being more challenging and difficult, but the fact is, it's only more challenging and difficult if you're trying to rush. If you truly are just pacing yourself and not, like, trying to rush things, it is pretty easy and very cozy. Very, very cozy.
With the whole global lockdown thing. Animal Crossing had always been a popular franchise, but they really caught lightning in a bottle with New Horizons. It wasn't just a big game that happened to come out during a time where everyone was inside. There was something about it, a certain magic that captivated players, transported them to a peaceful world of fruit trees and flowers and cute talking animals. The mechanics were relaxing and bordered on mindful at times. Fishing, digging up fossils and completing museum collections, tending flowers, slowly decorating the island. It was slow, it was gentle, and it was cozy. Around the same time that Animal Crossing released, a small team of indie developers put together the first Wholesome Direct, which showcased a wide range of quote-unquote wholesome indie games. Games that had an intangible warmth and comfort and, well, wholesomeness to them. Quote, we noticed there were...
This entire, like, genre is something that so many male gamers want to make sure is not allowed to exist. They see the existence of, like, a forum to discuss cozy games among predominantly women. That sounds like if gamer guys had their way, they would, like, burn the servers to that website. You know, like, they really want to gatekeep who they see as normies out of this, and, like, loser, basement dweller, gamer dudes consider women the biggest normies ever. Like, normie guys, they're normies, but, like, women, they are the most normie of normies in the eyes of these, like, gamer dudes. They need to be gatekept at the utmost, right?
A bunch of indie games in development with a similar vibe, and lots of the same people were in communities for all of them, but no one knew how to define that vibe. We heard cozy, Nintendo-inspired, non-violent, etc., but there were always exceptions. We called them wholesome games to highlight that it's not a single quality like cuteness or non-violence that ties them together.
Wholesome Direct was a huge success, becoming a well-respected name in the indie game space, which helped to cement cozy games as their own genre. While wholesome was, and still is, sometimes used to describe describe these same intangible, warm, cozy feelings, cozy became the word of choice.
I don't think we'll ever know why exactly one was chosen over the other, but honestly it might have had something to do with the whole E3 Keanu Reeves Wholesome 100 Chungus Reddit moment thing. It sounds like I'm doing
That's
a bit,
fair.
but the word wholesome became kind of tainted after that. People will still goof on you for saying it. Cozy games surged in popularity during the pandemic. Stardew Valley with its repetitive yet satisfying farming gameplay and rustic countryside setting. Ooblets with its cute blobby art.
Like, I feel like so many people on the internet have to enforce this, like, idea that we all have to pretend like everyone we encounter online isn't a real person. You know? Like on the other side of a screen. Like you have to you have to keep up this like vague sense that the internet and gaming communities are supposed to be toxic and confrontational and rude and you know, it's like, well, I mean, they don't have to be. Not really. I mean, in public we're not like that in the real world, and I think there's a reason for it.
Style and adorable critters, my time at Portia with its community of colorful characters and vast open fields to explore, Spiritfarer, Cozy Grove, Slime Rancher, The Sims, the list goes on.
For many players, these games provided a much-needed escape from the reality of living in a capitalist dystopia.
They featured slow, mindful mechanics, fishing, gardening, foraging, cooking, exploring.
Oh, I remember I saw the chuds on Twitter real mad about that line. That line right there got him real pissed. The getting an escape from a capitalist dystopia. Apparently at one point this video makes the argument that cozy games make us complacent with capitalist dystopia, which I might not necessarily vibe with as a argument too much, but that is reiterating of her take from chuds on Twitter, so they're probably just strawmanning her to be real, but so far, so good.
They immersed players in beautiful, colorful worlds filled with nature and populated with cute, quirky characters to befriend and even romance. They imagined a world where nature was treated with respect, smartphones hadn't completely eroded the concept of community, and you could actually own a house and not be in debt. Unless you were playing Animal Crossing, in which case you were in debt, just to Tom Nook instead of like a landlord.
At their core, these games tapped into a shared longing for three things: connection, community, and the ability to slow down and take life at your own pace. Before we continue, we should probably talk about the definition, or lack thereof, of cozy.
What do you define as
Not in Stardew, though, okay? I gotta make sure I've done a lot to make my grandpappy proud in the first year. You know how it is.
a cozy game? So I'm curious, what exactly is the definition of a cozy game? What is your definition of cozy games? What games, for example? Hear me out, hot take. Does anyone think that people are conflating cozy with I'm simply enjoying this game? What is a cozy game? I don't ever really see a consistent definition of what a cozy game actually is, so I don't know if I can consider myself to be a cozy gamer.
As you can probably tell, there's a lot of confusion in the space about what the genre even is, and pretty much everyone has
You know it's definitely not a cozy game? Although, looking at it, might seem like it qualifies. Terraria. If someone tries to claim that Terraria is a cozy game, they need... I hope a meteorite hits them. Because Terraria is... The entire point of Terraria is that it rips your asshole to pieces, and you're never able to shit again. Like, if you're not playing Terraria on that difficulty, are you really playing Terraria? That's my question.
a different answer.
For some, cozy games need to fit a specific list of criteria. Non-competitive, non-violent, repetitive gameplay, cute graphics, relaxing music, uplifting,
so not
comforting
Terraria.
stories, and emphasis on stress relief and escapism. Cozy game fans in this camp generally acknowledge that not every game is going to tick every single box. There'll always be exceptions like Stardew Valley's mining combat or Spiritfarer's cute but dark subject matter, but there are rough guidelines that can help
To be fair, the mining content in Stardew is like the most avoidable. Like, you absolutely don't need to do combat in Stardew to like succeed at all.
to define certain games as cozy. Others define cozy games purely based on vibes alone, describing them as the kind of game you just want to curl up by the fire and play on a rainy day.
These players often take a more I just know it when I see it approach to defining cozy games, and therefore end up including unconventional picks like Bloodborne, Skyrim, and Dredge, just because for those people those games do feel cozy and relaxing. Naturally,
I mean, like, yeah, Dark Souls 1 is cozy and relaxing for me because I can play it with, like, my eyes closed, basically. And the parry timing. Oh my god. You ever get, like, jump scared by a cough? It just hits you out of nowhere? Jesus. As I was saying, yeah, playing Dark Souls 1 is pretty cozy for me because I'm so familiar with it. But, like, it's not a cozy game by any means.
These two different camps butt heads a lot.
Cozy gamers who prefer more strict definitions argue that there's a distinction between cozy and comforting. Any game from Halo to Bloodborne to Silent Hill can be a comfort game, but those same games, due to their violence, intense combat, or horror themes, can't be considered part of the cozy game genre. Those who gauge coziness by vibes argue that cozy is such a broad genre that it's impossible to define with a checklist of mechanics, and that the definitions shouldn't be policed. If they find it cozy, it's cozy, goddammit.
Basically, cozy is a very
I love how it's the right-wing gamers that sit around all day watching grums complain about how this or that chick's tits aren't big enough in a game that are losing their mind over this video. This is a real, like, actual conversation, agree with it or no, a real conversation about video games, not about a single video game. This video isn't one of those fake reviews for a game that's just summarizing the entirety of the game's events. This isn't some grifting ideology, like, this game doesn't agree with me, so it's bad. This game agrees with me, so it's good type video. It is a video about analyzing types of games, an old, like a classic game analysis conversation type video. And meanwhile, you've got gamer chuds losing their minds over it, while all the while they praise people like Grums, who are grifter scammers whose entire goal is to weaponize angry, misogynistic gamer rage against women who are, frankly, engaging with the art of gaming, you know, the art form of gaming, in a far more art-like way than they ever have. Right? Like, do we really want to live in a world where the gaming community's only conversations are about boob size and whether or not this character is black or white or gay or trans? Or do we want to live in a world where we actually have conversations about games and what makes them good and what makes them bad and what makes them special, what makes them memorable, you know? What makes them unique? I choose the latter.
Loosely defined vague umbrella of mechanics, aesthetics, and general vibes that basically no one can agree on. For the purpose of this video, I'll be using cozy to describe the more typical kind of relaxing simulator genre rather than like Bloodborne.
Cozy quickly grew from a niche term used by a small corner of the indie game community to a multi-million-dollar video game genre.
Suddenly, games that had been around for years, even decades, as life simulators, RPGs, and even adventure games were retroactively being tagged as cozy games.
Harvest Moon and Animal Crossing were hailed as the proto-cozy games, the grandfathers of the modern cozy.
I would really love to see a follow-up video by her on the topic of digital social space games. Because those games also have a pretty strong female and LGBT appeal. So think games like VR Chat or Club Penguin, or you know, like that realm of games. Because even growing up, there was one exception when it came to girls that I would meet who played video games. Club Penguin. When I was a little kid, the girls who played games played Club Penguin. And obviously nowadays you've got games like Animal Crossing and stuff, but like VR Chat almost feels like the adult evolution. Well, ideally adult, but unfortunately I'm sure there's kids on there getting groomed, no doubt. But VR Chat's like the evolution of that in a sense, right? Like just people hanging out in digital environments talking to each other. And I've been in VR Chat and it's like 50% or more women in most rooms that I've gone into. So it's pretty clear that there is a disproportionately high, you know, like male, or I guess like there's a more equal balance of women and men playing a game like VR Chat, maybe like Club Penguin, like these more social games, even World of Warcraft, right? World of Warcraft, in modern day, like the MMO, super popular with women. So yeah, I'd be very curious to see a follow up on that topic, like social oriented games and how they've gotten more recently a lot more popular with women.
Movement. The Sims was declared to have been the ultimate cozy game all along, and Stardew Valley was credited with kicking off the modern cozy farming game trend all the way back in 2016. And the genre is only getting bigger. In 2020, 19 games released with the tag cozy on Steam, and in 2025 there were over 600. There are so many of these games.
Oh yeah, web fishing too is really big. And the creator got doxxed? Oh. Well, you'd think, like, was web fishing free and unmonetized? Because, like, man, you'd think that game would have made a shitload of money. I wouldn't care if I was, like, anywhere in the millions and got doxxed. I've been doxxed as much under a millionaire. If I was a millionaire and... If I was doxxed and then also a millionaire, I wouldn't be even a little bit upset.
Coming out every year. Infinity Nikki, Pokopia, Palia, Heartopia, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Disney Dreamlight...
The fact they made it real,
Pokopia,
bro.
Palia, Heartopia, Hello Kitty...
The fact that they made this fucking real is so crazy. They made a Hello Kitty game as a reference to South Park. For those that don't know, there is a iconic, possibly the highest rated episode of South Park ever, was the World of Warcraft episode. And in that episode, they tell Butters... they're trying to get everybody onto World of Warcraft, and Butters says, well, I don't play World of Warcraft. I play Hello Kitty Island Adventure. And they're like, go home and install World of Warcraft, Butters, or we're going to murder you. But Hello Kitty Island Adventure was not a real game. That didn't exist. They made up a game that Butters would enjoy. And then, like, 20 years later, they actually make Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I don't know if there's any more South Park references in the game other than the fact that the South Park writers came up with the idea for the game in the first place as a joke, and then they ran with it. That or that episode of South Park just takes place in the future. You know, that's a crazy thing. South Park, even its episodes that aired in the early 2000s, those episodes technically take place in whatever year South Park takes place in, right? The characters have aged a couple years, but canonically it's only been like 2 or 3 years in universe since the show started. So, like, technically, maybe the show's just always taken place in a time where this game existed, you know? Anyway, no, I'm not gonna stream Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I got very stun-locked there, but I had to talk about it.
Island Adventure, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Cozy Caravan, Fae Farm, Fields of Mysteria, Tiny Bookshop, Coral Island, Paleo Pines, Dinkum, Everdream Bookshop, Grimshire, Wildflowers, Tales of the Shire, Calico, Strange Culture, Catos.
I need to pick that game up. I like cozy games, but I haven't bought it yet, and I've avoided any spoilers, but a cozy game that's just Hobbit life? Sign me the fuck up.
Post office, and so many more. Too many to list. The r/cozy gaming subreddit has over 350,000 members, and there are countless YouTubers, streamers, and influencers who have made entire careers based off of playing and discussing cozy games.
At this point you may be asking, well, if the genre is so popular and beloved by gamers, what's the issue here? And the issue is that despite their popularity and relevancy in the current zeitgeist, cozy games and those who play them are very often subject to mockery, denigration, and dismissal.
Well, it's because if you're a woman and you're playing them, well, you're a woman and you're doing something girly, and you're not being a pick-me, which means guys will hate you. And if you're a guy doing it, then you're a guy doing something girly, and that makes you gay. And, yeah, I mean, there you go. Quick maths.
As a kid, I was a huge
I joke, her
nerd
video's
and
very
I loved
good.
video games, and whenever I tried to talk to my male classmates about them, I was almost always met with the same response. Okay, name 5 games then, and they can't be like Nintendogs or The Sims or Animal Crossing. From a young age, I learned 2 things. Firstly, that because I was a girl, I was...
And this is why you never met any girls who played video games growing up. I should go on the record to say I would never have been this way if I met a girl who played video games when I was younger. I would have been like, oh, what are your favorite games? Or do you like this game? that I like, you know what I mean?
Naturally suspected to be lying about my interest in video games and had to prove my knowledge. And secondly, that the games that I loved and that shaped my childhood were not real games.
So over time I learned to replace The Sims, Animal Crossing, Nintendogs, Pets Cats 2, and Bratz with other cooler games that I played, games that were socially acceptable. Skyrim, Borderlands, Garry's Mod, Fallout, Batman Arkham Asylum, Game
Okay, but come on, you gotta admit, alright, if the pressure got you to try Fallout New Vegas, I mean, Batman Arkham Asylum too? You got on Gary's, but you gotta admit, okay, that it's worth giving those games a try. They're pretty top tier.
of the Year edition TM.
These were the types of games that elicited positive reactions from my peers rather than whoever I was talking to just straight up leaving the conversation.
I'm far from the only one to experience this. I asked in a poll on my Instagram if any of my followers had experienced mockery or dismissal for playing cozy or casual games, and the responses were pretty striking. Oh my god, of course you only like Life is Strange, with an eye roll when I said it was my favorite video game. Have you played any real games? Is a consistent.
No, I'll die on that hill. Life is Strange is good. Life is Strange is good, especially the second game. I really like the second game, because, like, you don't even have powers in that one. Your choices mold another character who's then going to make choices out of your control besides the effect you had on him. You know, it's like, ooh, that's even more... That feels even more consequential than the first game. And, like, your choices have consequences and you can rewind them. Your choices have far-reaching later consequences on your little brother and the actions he's going to take, whether or not you like it down the road. Like, that is some good game mechanics and good writing, too. Yeah, I'll die on the hill that Life is Strange is good, for sure. Peak.
Response. When I worked in games, there really was a culture of real games versus those made for girls. I play 15 hours a week of Minecraft, Stardew, Dachi Life, etc., and friends say I don't play real games. Had an ex that didn't even play games rip on me for playing The Sims. In general, I always got some guff for playing Nintendo games and not Call of Duty. That's not a real game though. Okay, lil bro, God forbid I wanna relax.
So what separates cozy games from so-called real games? Well, there are a lot of factors at play, but in online discussions, it usually tends to boil down to one thing: difficulty.
Real games demand skill and punish failure. They require intelligence, quick thinking, fast reflexes, and or complex knowledge of in-game systems. Games like Dark Souls and
Men. Come on, chat. Can we get the men chant in chat?
Hollow Knight are infamously unforgiving and not only require skill, but a huge amount of patience and perseverance even when you've entered that tiny arena for the 15th time and the dog's already on you and you're stun locked so you can't
fuck
hit
that
the
one.
Capra Demon.
Yeah, the way to do it, by the way, the way to do this, by the way, you do it super easy, super easy. You immediately start running the second you jump in. Sometimes Capra Demon throws up that, like, double sword slice straight down at you, so just throw up a shield or roll through it. You run up the stairs, there's a little ledge you can get on right about here. The dogs will jump around and try to get at you. That's when you kill them individually as they come around. The Capra Demon's gonna have a hard time getting up to you, so you have a minute. Kill the dogs off while you're standing on this little ledge up here. Then fall, plunging attack the Capra Demon, and from there, if you can't just beat it after you've taken a third of its health down with the plunging attack, then I don't know how to help you, brother. I don't know how to help you. But yeah, that fight, fuck this fight, but also once you've figured it out, it's easy.
And the dog's already on you and you're stun locked so you can't fucking hit the Capra Demon. I can't wait to do the run all the way back here with the dogs and the assassins.
Oh yeah, she's doing it.
Call of Duty, CSGO, and other multiplayer shooters require quick reflexes and pinpoint precision, all with the added pressure of playing as part of a team who are probably not going to be very happy if you lose. On the other hand, common criticisms of the cozy genre include a lack of challenge, low...
Nothing will ever beat the Summit, like, punching his camera thing. I think I literally have that as an emote in my chat, don't I? I've got a... That's an emote in my chat, right? The Summit punching the monitor gif? That's a classic, bro.
Stakes relaxing
Yeah,
gameplay
there
and
it is.
repetitive gameplay loops
I
of
do have
farming
it.
or grinding NPC quests. Cozy games often have a very low bar for entry and are accessible even to non-gamers. Progress is often dictated more by the player and what they want to do rather than a strict set of objectives, levels, or boss battles.
In a word, cozy games are generally not as interested in the idea of difficulty or challenge, and in this way, for some gamers, they kind of represent the antithesis of what a video game should be.
And yet, strangely, when you break them down to their core components, their most basic mechanics, cozy games actually share a ton of
I deal with so much of this, even from like pretty chill, progressive friends, this idea that a game that is. This is a very common one. I've got friends that are not like right wing chud weirdos that think games like the Horizon games, like Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, are like industry plant games that no one actually plays or likes, and that it's just like Sony like manufacturing a successful franchise and mascot. And it's like, listen, neither of us play those games. I get it. I've never played any of these games, but I've met people who do. I've seen their tweets. I've seen like, and I get that when you're not like part of any of that, it can seem just almost fake or not real. But I assure you, just because these games are not popular with you, like they're not your type of game, does not mean there's like an agenda or like some industry plant thing going on. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about people who are not like right-wing chuds or anything, by the way. This is just sort of like a gamer mentality that when they don't understand why something is popular, it must be some kind of industry plant. You know, like mixtape. Mixtape, like the same people and the same funding that made mixtape made God, it was a really popular game everybody liked. I forget what it was called though, because I don't really follow that studio. But yeah, like mixtape's a really good example. People feel that there has to be something wrong with the people making it, like they must be doing something immoral to justify why they aren't interested in it and why they can judge those that do like it. It's a very common gamer mentality.
similarities with action games, shooters, platformers, survival games, and more. Resource gathering can be hitting apple trees and rocks in Animal Crossing or harvesting herbs and mining ore in World of Warcraft. One is framed as a relaxing daily routine while the other is efficient grinding. Game upgrades and progression might look like gradually unlocking items to decorate your world in Pokopia or gradually unlocking a skill tree in Skyrim. Optimization and min-maxing might look like fine-tuning your farm layout, crop spread, and overall profit per season in Stardew.
It will never not bother me, by the way. This will never not bother me. Concerned Ape, fix this, please. Make the greenhouses bigger. Please. You know that this is not okay. It's not symmetrical. Fix it.
Look like fine-tuning your farm layout, crop spread, and overall profit per season in Stardew Valley, or could look like optimizing your stats, armor, and overall build in Elden Ring. Time management, base building, crafting, socialization, exploration, mastery of in-game mechanics and systems, these are all features present in cozy games as well as a wide variety of other genres. During my research for this video, I reached out to Belle, a game developer who previously worked as a teacher in the field. She shared her own experiences with and research into misogyny in the cozy game space, and one particularly interesting point that she brought up was the very real existence of male cozy games. Games that share almost identical mechanics with popular cozy games but are aimed at a predominantly male audience and tend to face far less scrutiny.
American Truck Simulator? Okay, now to be fair, the irony in this is the first time I ever saw a truck simulator game. It was Euro Truck Simulator, and a trans woman was playing it. It was Zoe Proazhek, a member of the Yogscast. She came out as trans many years later, but yeah, it's ironic, though, that the truck simulator games are kind of cozy games targeted at a more male audience, but I was introduced to them through, like, a woman's YouTube videos. They're not really my cup of tea, though. You know, like, I'm not really, like, a cozy game format kind of guy, necessarily. I like Stardew because it straddles the line, you know? Like, you can kind of just choose what kind of game experience you're in for every 10 to 15 minutes in Stardew Valley. You know, every new day, you can be like, I'm going to go to the mines and fight monsters, or I'm going to go sit on the dock and fish while listening to a podcast. Like, that can just, like, you can just choose and switch between what kind of game you want to play on a whim. So yeah, it's just my cup of tea, personally.
To quote Bell, I'll use two examples here, Animal Crossing and Fallout Shelter. Two very different games, right? Not exactly. When you break the mechanics down to their core, they are essentially using graphics, names, and phrasing to change the way they're perceived. Let's say in Animal Crossing, I enjoy growing my island and finding new villages. I maintain the island, find out what is bothering the others, fix it, gather supplies, and keep up maintenance. That is the exact same process as maintaining your shelter in Fallout. The mechanics are identical: base building, NPC morale, maintenance to ensure safety and happiness, and the player is the one in charge.
Only one is basically a doomsday prepper game, and the other is like cozy homestead owner game.
Like a baby onesie, the only difference in its reception is if they make it pink or blue. Another great example is the truck simulator genre. As someone who has played a surprising amount of American Truck Simulator, these games are incredibly relaxing, with beautiful scenery, background music, and long open roads that allow you to kind of turn your brain off and enjoy the tranquility of driving a big old truck. This game has tens of thousands of positive reviews. Most of them are about how relaxing it is to finish a long day at work, crack open a beer, and just play while you unwind from the day.
This is the exact same sentiment shared by so many cozy game players, so why do we see so much dismissal and judgment directed specifically at cozy games?
I do want to encourage you guys to watch the rest of this video, so I'm going to cut it here, but so far, I like what I'm seeing. There'll be a link down below to the original video in the description, but I want to show you guys. You want to see my favorite type of driving game experience? Here, let me see if I can find one of these. Here it is.
Look at these drunks.
This is my kind of driving game. I wouldn't exactly call it cozy, though.
Freaking drunks everywhere. Freaking moron. Good lord. You see the tree line? It goes left. We're gonna go left. Watch. Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy cow. Oh my god, we're dead. We're dead. We're dead. You kids okay?
I love his videos, bro. I love his videos.